Despite how one may feel about the gameplay aspect of Super Paper Mario, there's no question that this game has a more in-depth story than any other Mario game out there. And despite Mario being my favorite game series, which is a series that typically lacks story elements, I love when video games have even somewhat compelling stories. So I wanted to use this video to break down the whole story of Super Paper Mario. Let's get into it. Before the main events of the game actually came to pass, there was the time of the Tribe of the Ancients and the Tribe of Darkness. 3,000 years ago, the Tribe of the Ancients existed as an advanced civilization that specialized in magic. However, they lacked raw brute strength. So to compensate for this, one of the Ancients' members created the tools known as pixels, the same kinds of pixels used as partners in the main story. This guy used knowledge from a book of prophecies called the Dark Prognosticus as the basis of the pixel creation. This book eventually becoming a major plot point in the current events of the game. The Ancients used the pixels to build great cities and spread their knowledge across many worlds. However, they grew overly dependent on the pixels, and after 1,000 years of prosperity, the Ancients were devastated by the uprising of their pixels, who had fallen under the control of an entity known as the Pixel Queen. The Pixel Queen was the first pixel created, actually, and was horrified at how her fellow pixels were being used like tools, but her revolution was eventually stopped by the 12 original pixels besides herself and their ancient partners, all but one of whom died. This lone survivor discovered that the specific process from the Dark Prognosticus to create the pixels involved using the souls of deceased ancients. The Pixel Queen in particular had the soul of the pixel creator's daughter. Terrified that something so terrible could happen again, the lone survivor took the Dark Prognosticus and vanished without a trace. 1,500 years later, some of the members of the ancients decided to break away to create the Tribe of Darkness, a group known for their dark magic and secrecy. Count Bleck and his father were known members of this tribe, while Nolrem is supposedly a descendant of it. Eventually, the ancients learned about a prophecy written in the Dark Prognosticus, a prophecy that foretold the end of all worlds in 1,500 years' time by the power of an object known as the Chaos Heart. The Chaos Heart could be unleashed if a fair princess and a monster king joined hands in marriage. This led to a group of 4 sages by the names of Merlimbus, Merlite, Merlu, and Merlumina, believing the power of true love could stop this prophecy. These sages would begin intense research in hopes of coming to some kind of conclusion to stop the prophecy. This would lead to the creation of the Purity Heart and the Light Prognosticus, things meant to directly counter the Chaos Heart and Dark Prognosticus respectively. The Light Prognosticus in particular was mostly written as an instruction manual for the 4 heroes of light to follow, 4 individuals who were prophesied to determine the fate of which Prognosticus will come out on top in the end. The 4 heroes are described as a man in red, a fair maiden, an evil king, and a man in green, i.e. Mario, Peach, Bowser, and Luigi, with Luigi in particular being the main deciding factor if the light or the darkness will triumph. All 4 sages also decided to break the Purity Heart into 8 different pieces, which is where the 8 pure hearts Mario and friends have to collect came to be. These pure hearts were passed on to other people the sages could trust for safekeeping for the next 1,500 years. The problem was the ancients were not immortal, and because they were scared of another pixel uprising, the creation of more pixels was outlawed. It got to a point where only 11 of them were left, so these remaining 11 were kept away in various large treasure chests to await the Heroes of Light, planning to aid them in their quest to save all worlds. Now that the remaining pixels were sealed away for the future, the ancients' power began to dwindle more and more, eventually going completely extinct by the time Super Paper Mario's present events came to be. During this time period, there was a series of events that transpired that helped influence the Dark Prognosticus' prophecy, the love story between Blumiere and Lady Timpani. One day, Blumiere, a member of the Tribe of Darkness, was laid out injured at the bottom of a cliff, where Lady Timpani would find him and nurse him back to health. Blumiere became attracted to Timpani very quickly due to her kind nature, and despite his father's warnings to stay away from regular humans, Blumiere would sneak away to hang out with Timpani on several occasions, leading to the two of them quickly falling in love. But Blumiere's father would learn of these affairs and threaten Timpani. As a last-ditch effort to get away from his father, Blumiere proposed to her. Sadly, before they could actually go through with the wedding, his father kidnapped her, banished her from the Darkness Tribe's dimension, wiped her memory, and cursed her to travel through worlds until the day she dies. Blumiere tirelessly searched for her with no luck finding her, completely unaware that Merlin of Flipside found her barely alive, where he resorted to turning her into a pixel named Tippy to save her life. At some point during his search for his love, Blumiere would befriend a woman named Nastasia, the woman who eventually became his assistant. Blumiere returned to his world after no luck of finding Timpani. Feeling completely hopeless, he felt that life no longer had meaning without her, so he found the Dark Prognosticus Prognosticus and used its powers to destroy the Darkness Tribe's dimension and planned to do the same to every other world. Now going by the name Count Bleck, he and Nastasia would move into a giant castle surrounded by a world of darkness, gaining even more loyal followers in the process by the names of Ochunks, Mimi, and Dementio. With this new army, he would propose that he planned to destroy all worlds to create better new ones, when of course in reality, he just wanted to wipe out everything and leave it that way. Something Dementio would eventually find out and use as leverage to betray Count Bleck. Now in the present day, Count Bleck would forcefully arrange the marriage between Princess Peach and Bowser with the intent to bring the Chaos Heart to life. Mario attempts to foil the plan, but it's too late. The Chaos Heart is already awakened. Count Bleck renders Mario unconscious while he sucks Bowser, Peach, Luigi, and Bowser's Koopa Troop into one of his voids. Mario is eventually awoken by Tippy, who brings him to the town of Flipside to meet Merlin. Merlin is the one currently in possession of the Light Prognosticus and quickly realizes Mario must be one of the 4 heroes of light. Merlin offers him the first pure heart out of trust, where Mario dispenses it into a heart pillar. Doing this creates a door at the top of Flipside, leading to a world called Lineland. Each time a new pure heart is collected, a new world can be reached, usually with another pure heart lying there. Merlin suggests Mario go to the Lineland to not only find the next pure heart, but to seek out his friend Bestovius, a powerful sage that can give Mario the power to travel from the 2nd dimension to the 3rd dimension. As Mario travels towards Lineland, Nastasia informs Count Bleck there's a high chance Mario is on the move, so Ochunks volunteers to take care of him. As Mario makes his way through this world, he not only gains the dimension travel ability, but the new aid of the first pixel sealed inside a chest. This pixel's named Throw, and he gives Mario the power to pick up certain objects and throw them upward and forward. It's thanks to this power that Mario is able to make quick work of Ochunks before reaching the guardian of the next pure heart, Fractail. Fractail realizes that Mario is one of the heroes of light, but is forcefully malfunctioned by an interfering Dementio, forcing Mario to fight him to pass. Once he's beaten, Mario makes his way to the chamber of the next pure heart, which ends up being given to him by the spirit of Merlumina, one of the 4 sages that wrote the Light Prognosticus. Because Ochunks failed miserably to stop Mario, Count Bleck would now send Mimi to stop him. Around the same time too, Peach would wake up inside Count Bleck's castle, where 2 Koopas would help her search for an exit. Sadly, Nastasia finds them in an attempt to brainwash them to serve Count Bleck. Thankfully, Peach is teleported to Flipside before she's hypnotized. Mario is able to find her and she decides to join him on his quest, mainly because she feels like everything that's happened is mostly her fault. The next world the now 2 heroes must travel to is Gloom Valley. The main goal is to reach Merly's mansion and find the next pure heart, where they would gain the help of 2 more pixels named Boomer and Slim. Problem is, Mimi is already there waiting for them inside the mansion, and she does not make things easy. Not only putting the heroes in debt over a broken vase, but shapeshifting into Merly in an attempt to trick them. But thanks to a personality quiz, they're able to figure out who the imposter is, leading to a fight with Mimi for the pure heart. Mimi's defeat will grant the heroes the next pure heart and access to a world called the Bitlands. Now with Mimi out of commission for the time being, Count Bleck has Dementio go to the Bitlands to stop Mario and Peach. While this was going on, Luigi was now awake inside Castle Bleck. He finds 2 Goombas to team up with, but unfortunately all 3 of them are forced into hypnosis by Nastasia. This event in particular drastically changes the course of events for the heroes, because now their man in green, who is meant to decide the fate of all, is under control of Count Bleck. Right when Mario and Peach arrive in the Bitlands, Tippy is captured by a nerdy chameleon named Francis. Luckily, a scared pixel hiding nearby named Barry tells them how to reach Francis's lair. As they go through more of the early Bitlands area, Mario and Peach eventually run into Bowser, who ends up joining their quest as the 3rd hero of light after a quick fight with Mario. The main things completed in the Bitlands are Dementio's first defeat, the acquiring of the pixels Thudley and Carrie, and the fall of Francis the Dweeb. The next pure heart is called by Tippy out of the castle itself, which is learned to be a structure that used to belong to the tribe of the ancients, hence why a pure heart was there without Francis even knowing. Back at Castle Bleck, the Count decides to send one of his new minions, who is unnamed at the time, to stop the heroes. Returning the next pure heart to Flipside, the next door that opens for the heroes is a green one, which leads to the vast world of outer space. Early on, they encounter a green alien named Squirps, who not only serves as their guide, but as an extra source of damage for beating enemies. Eventually, everyone makes a pit stop at planet Blowbull, where they encounter a pixel by the name of Fleep, who only joins after receiving some fresh toilet paper to use the bathroom. Soon after, the heroes make their way to the Woe Zone, a very complicated maze area that's also referred to as Space's Graveyard. Making it through the Woe Zone leads the heroes to the next pure heart, where the new Count Count Bleck minion Mr. L awaits them. Mr. L, aka disguised Luigi, falls after being beaten twice in his base form and inside his robot suit, where the heroes eagerly collect the next pure heart. After a quick minion meeting with Mr. L at Castle Bleck, Nastasia voices some concern about how maybe if she could have been in Timpani's place, maybe things wouldn't have turned out differently for Count Bleck. However, Count Bleck says Timpani could never be replaced, especially by someone like Nastasia. Once the heroes are back in Flipside, TP passed out for some reason. Now everyone must go to Flopside to meet up with Nullrim and drop off the next pure heart before traveling to a new world. That world being the land of the Kragnons, a very prehistoric looking area populated by the Krag people and the Florosapiens. The Florosapiens have been capturing the Kragnons and brainwashing them to do manual labor. The reason for this being is the Florosapiens got tired of the Kragnons polluting all this clean water. Throughout their journey in Kragnon, the heroes also find two pixels by the name of Kudge and Dottie to join them on the quest too. By the end of the area, they have to fight a creature who goes by the name of King Crocus IV. This battle concluding leads to the start of the peace between the Kragnons and the Florosapiens after they learned about their respective motivations from each group. And of course, the acquisition of a new pure heart. Meanwhile, at Castle Bleck, the minions get into a little bit of a spat because they keep losing over and over. That doesn't stop them from wanting a second chance though. Dementio in particular picks up on this and manipulates Mr. L and Mimi to go on the offensive as soon as possible. Soon after, we see the heroes are ready to head to their next destination, the Sammer Kingdom. However, Nullrim informs them that this is a world that is on the brink of destruction via Count Bleck's void. Upon arrival, the leader of the land, the King Sammer, tells the heroes they have to defeat 99 of his Sammer guys to acquire the next pure heart, per laws of the land. After 20 are defeated, Count Bleck appears on the scene to inform them that this world is about to be destroyed, quickly retreating after TP calls him out. The remaining Sammer guys realize how dire the situation has gotten and allow the heroes to pass through without a fight. They reunite with the king of the land, who is revealed to be Mimi in disguise, forcing the heroes into a battle. After she's defeated, she doesn't even care because she just wanted to stall them long enough for the world to be gone, which kind of worked because everyone was forced to flee back to Flipside as the Sammer Kingdom was destroyed. But somehow, the door to the Sammer Kingdom still exists. Upon re-entering, the heroes are greeted with a completely white world of near nothingness. After traversing the now destroyed world for a bit, Mr. L is seen collecting a pure heart that looks to be completely encased in stone. The heroes confront him and defeat his Brobot L-type, which forces him to retreat and leave behind the stone heart. Now feeling even more self-doubt than usual, Mr. L proclaims that he can't even go back to the Count after failing so hard again, something that Dementio overhears and plans to take advantage of. Dementio traps Mr. L inside an exploding force field, sending him to a place called the Underwhere to await the arrival of Mario and company. While back at Castle Bleck, Count Bleck begins to wonder if the pixel he saw in the Sammer Kingdom could actually be Timpani, but he quickly brushes it off because the prophecy is at a point where nobody can stop it now. As the heroes return to Flipside, they can't help but wonder what to do now since the newest pure heart doesn't work properly. Suddenly, out of the blue, Dementio shows up inside Merlin's house to dispose of the heroes the same way he did Mr. L, sending both Mario and Bowser to the Underwhere while Peach ends up in the Overthere. The Underwhere serving as a video game underworld while the Overthere is meant to be like heaven. Mario awakens here alone and begins to wander the area, at some point running into a NIMBY creature named Loveby, the daughter of the Underwhere's Queen Jades and the Overthere's King Granby. Queen Jades tasks Mario with bringing her daughter back to her, and in return, she'll return the Stone Pure Heart to its original state. On the way back to Loveby, Mario reunites with Luigi, who is no longer Mr. L and seems to have total amnesia of all the events that happened after Nastasia cornered him. Now with Luigi being part of the gang as the fourth hero of light, the two brothers return Loveby to her mother and receive the healed Pure Heart, eventually reuniting with Tippy and Merlin back in Flipside. Oddly enough, the door that opens from this Pure Heart just leads Mario and Luigi right back to the Underwhere. They meet up with Queen Jades again, who suggests going to the Overthere this time, this to Granby. On the way up, the Mario Bros reunite with Bowser and have to snap Peach out of a comatose state since she ate a forbidden fruit that makes her fall asleep forever. With all the heroes together for the first time now, they have to save the Overthere from being overrun by monsters called Skelebits, led by a monster named Bone Chill. Defeating Bone Chill not only saves Granby's life, but reveals to everyone that Loveby was the final Pure Heart all along. Although Loveby is not happy about this revelation, she nevertheless goes with Mario's crew so they can place her in the final Pure Heart pillar. Around this time, Tippy suddenly regains the rest of her memories, realizing that Count Bleck is indeed the same Blumiere she had fallen in love with. Now comes the time for the heroes to make their way into Castle Bleck for the final confrontation. Throughout this journey, the likes of Bowser and Peach get left behind in their respective fights against Ochunks and Mimi. Eventually, Luigi has to take on Dimentio after he and Mario refuse to join forces with him to stop Count Bleck, leaving Mario completely alone at one point. Soon after, Mario and Teepee finally reach the Count's chambers. Teepee pleads with her love to stop, but he says it's too late, preparing to fight Mario. The problem is, Mario's attacks have no effect thanks to the Chaos Heart's magic shielding him. But just as things are looking even worse, Bowser, Luigi, and Peach all show up, in turn activating the powers of the 8 Pure Hearts to break Count Bleck's shield. After Count Bleck is defeated, he just wants to be put out of his misery. But Teepee rejects this idea because now that he knows she's alive, they can finally live a happy life together. Seeing this as his best opportunity to strike, Dimentio teleports Teepee, Count Bleck, and the other minions to a pocket dimension, proceeding to take control of the Chaos Heart while fusing with Luigi to become an entity known as Super Dimentio. Just like Count Bleck, Dimentio is impervious to attacks for a while thanks to the Chaos Heart. That is until the shared love between Teepee and Count Bleck are able to activate the Pure Hearts again, bringing the prophecy of true love conquering the Chaos Heart to fruition and giving Mario, Bowser, and Peach one final chance to save the world. Beating Super Dimentio saves Luigi, and Dimentio is presumed defeated for good, but he actually left behind a small part of his power after death to continue controlling the Chaos Heart. So Count Bleck springs into action to take everyone back to the same location where he tried to marry Peach and Bowser. Here, he and Teepee renew their vows to each other, activating the Pure Hearts one last time to stop the Chaos Heart for good. Soon after, everyone returns to Flipside, celebrating the safety of the worlds at last. Some wonder what became of Teepee and Count Bleck, but they believe they must still be alive out there somewhere, with the end credits of the game showing 2 figures believed to be Timpani and Blumiere standing together atop a grassy hill. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't be a stranger to hitting that like button and subscribing for more Nintendo related content like this in the future, but for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye bye.